Hi everyone, this is the second video of the JWT Auth cookie series in NestJS application. So in this video, we are going to generate JWT access token and we are going to return it to the client within the cookie. Okay, that too HTTP only cookie. So HTTP only means only server can read the cookie. Like client-side applications like JavaScript based applications, Angular, like Angular, Vue, React, they cannot access the cookie. Okay, so this is the article I have already written that what I am going to explain in this session, I have added into this blog. So the link will be available in the description under the video. So if anyone interested can go through the blog as well. Okay, so let's jump into our sample. So in the first part, we have completed the user registration. So in this part, we are create the user login endpoint and that endpoint generates token and store it into the cookie and return it to the client. Okay. So now first step I want to do is I want to create a model that carries the user information. Okay, something like valid user information when the user try to log in. Okay, for that, let me create a model class. Right. I want to create it in the models folder. So let me show you the folder structure again. In this folder, I want to create slash. I will name like current user. Okay. Okay. My model is created. Current user.ts. I no need a spec file, so I am deleting. So this is my uh, model class to hold the current valid user. So let me copy some properties from user. What I will copy all the props. Okay, I don't need these decorations. Just token, password. Don't want those. So now in user service, we will create a method that going to validate user credentials and return the valid user. Okay, so its return type will be our current user. Okay, so let me create public method. So expected inputs are email and password. Okay, first thing is let's check the record is existing in the database using the email address. So here we are filtering the one record that matches the email. Okay, if user doesn't exist with that email, okay, simply return null response. If user exists, we need to validate the record against the password. Okay, For that, we can use our bcrypt library that we have installed. Okay, so this library, same library we used for hashing, right? Here hashing. So here we need to compare our password with the hash password. So for that I can use compare. Okay, here it should be awaited, and here first thing I can give my user dot email, sorry, password. I need to give my raw password posted from the client, and next I need to give the database hashed password. Okay, so it will return a boolean value. If it is not a valid password, again then I want to return null. Okay, so here it will be a string. And finally, if the user is valid, then I want to return object is my current user. So current user. Okay. So now what I will do, if user exists, I will map the values to my current user. So let user equal to new current user. Okay. Current user dot email. So the reason behind preparing this object is this data will be stored as a payload while generating the JWT token. Okay. Okay, that's it. What we have did, we have created a public method to validating the login user credentials. Okay, we fetch the data from the database. If no user exists, we simply return null. If the user exists, then we need to compare password from the client against the hashed password that was stored in the database. Okay. So if it is not valid, again return null. If it is valid, we are returning it as a current user object. Okay. So NestJS recommended way for the user authentication is to use the passport library. Okay. So using passport libraries, we can create strategies. So these strategies are nothing but they will read the user credentials from the uh, posted form data body, and they will pick up the credentials and they will validate the user against our methods, and if everything is good, it will return the user information into the current request. Okay, so it will add the user information into the request so that we can uh, we can use the user information by using the request object because it is added to the request pipeline by the strategies. Okay, so to implement the strategies, we have to install libraries like, let's go to my blog. So about what is passport and passport local library, you can read my blog. So here I am going to use the passport local library. So it is the extension of the library from the passport. Okay. So this local library mainly targets the reading of the user credentials like username and password. Okay. So let me first copy the NestJS passport, and another plugin we need to install is second one here. This is the TypeScript compatible passport local library. Okay. First let's install them. So because of using these passports, uh, username and password will not be read from our controller. So we enable these passport strategies as a guards. So from these guards, the authentication process will be executed. Okay, we can see those steps in the upcoming steps. So my library successfully installed. Now what I will do, I need to implement a local password strategy. For that, let me create a file. It's like a service only. So here you can see spec file and normal service file is created, and also you can see it was imported into the users module. Okay, so let me go to my file. Okay, first let's remove that uh, spec file. Okay, so let me rename it and in the user module as well. Okay, so to make our service as a strategy, it need to be extend from let's see, okay, not strategy, password strategy. Okay, that's loads from NestJS password. So here I can specify input parameters like strategy. Okay, that loads from passport local, comma, and here you can specify the name of your strategy. I can specify local. So if you recall, we have what library we have installed? Passport-local. By default, its name will be local only if we don't specify also here. But when we create more than one strategy in our application, then we need to specify explicitly. So here I am specifying explicitly because we are going to create few more strategies as well in this video or upcoming video. Okay. So now it is strategy service. So here we have to do structure. Okay. Uh, okay. Here I want to set few configurations. Okay. By default, local strategy. Okay. This strategy reads the form data like searches the variables like username and password. Okay. When user posted in that object, it will searches for username and password. So if you want to override those passwords, here we need to specify. So here I want to use email instead of username. For that, what I have to do means username field I will. Okay. Here I can specify email. Okay. So here what I am doing, default strategy reads property like username, but I am overriding that to read the property like email. Okay. So password I am going to use password only, but so I don't want to mention it here. And also let me inject my service. Okay. So next thing is think this method will validate. Okay. This method will automatically uh, executed by the strategy on invoking the strategy. Okay. So it will have input parameters like, so I am overriding email, right? So I can use that property. Another one is password. So I am not changing any name of the password. So local passport local library also reads as same. So I am not overrided here. If you want, you have to like a user password field something you need to override. You can check over the passport local library official documentation. If you want to override the password value as well for string. Okay. So now what I want to do, I want to invoke this method, user validation credential method into this strategy. So what I will do, this dot user service dot validate credentials and email, comma, okay, let user, okay. So if user equal to null means user is not found. Okay, then simply throw unauthorized exception. Okay, if at all, so here it should be awaited. So or else return user information. So I can define here type like promise current. Okay. So this is my strategy. Okay. So here what I am doing, here simply I am overriding the default username property to email. Okay. So that this strategy reads the email property from the posted form data. Okay. And here is the validate method that automatically get executed. So here we are checking for the user. If the user is not exist, we are throwing an unauthorized exception. If user exists, we simply return the user. So by returning this user from the strategy, what it will do internally, it will inject this user information into the request object so that we can access them in our application. Okay. So next thing, what I want to do is, so let's create the endpoint. Okay. So for creating the endpoint, go to our user controller here, sync login. I will specify like login. Okay. And it should be post and what I will say login. And here I want to use God. Okay. And inside of it, I want to specify auth guard. Inside of this auth guard, I want to give the name of my strategy. Okay. So this line will automatically validates the user information before entering into the here login controller action method. So once it is successfully executed with a valid user, then I have mentioned right it will be the request added. Okay, so I will simply show you we have successfully returning the user information into the request object by the auth log. So let's test that first. So request dot. So here what type of property I am returning? User, right? So same name I can expect here. Local user. Okay. So let's run and test this whether we are getting the valid user information or not. Okay. So my application is running. So let me test it in the Postman. So here I have prepared our URL and also the payload with valid credentials. Let me try first with invalid password. Okay. What we will get the response. See, I have got unauthorized 404. Let me give the correct password and what output I am expecting, and output I am expecting is current user object. Okay, still getting unauthorized. One more thing here, I need to import the password strategy port module. Okay, maybe that is the reason. So let me test again. Okay. Okay, still getting error, but password module we have missed that need to be imported. So where I went wrong. Okay, the issue reason is I am not checking equal to null. Okay, must check null, right? So my condition is wrong. I hope this should work now. Okay, see, user ID, username, email address. That means I am successfully able to get the record from my controller using the local strategy. Okay, but I am not expecting the user information as a result. I want JWT token to be injected into the cookie and cookie need to be returned as a response, right? So next thing is we need to concentrate on generating the JWT token. Okay. So for that we have to install a library. So let's go to my blog. So this is the library nestjs./jwt. Okay, installed successfully. First thing is I need to configure the JWT module. So for that I am going to user module, JWT module. Okay, so register. Here I can specify one thing, secret. This is my so give any some random string. Okay, don't give like this a plain string. For demo I am giving. So any random string that need to be loaded from our configuration. Okay, in the production environment. And next thing is sign in option. Here I can specify expire in 1 hour. Here you can choose how to specify the time, like 1 hour or days. or day or seconds. Okay, simply I'm setting 1 hour. Okay, there are a lot more options you can add like issuer or audience. So those are production ready code. You can use them. Okay, like so issuer is nothing but the our domain name. Okay, and the audience is nothing but the client application that going to consume our API endpoint. Okay, so this should be our client JS application will be there, right? That running domain, we have to mention it here. Okay, or no, I can, these are optional only, but they make more secure. Okay, so I am removing those options. Now I have successfully registered the JWT module. So next thing is I want to generate the JWT access token. So for that, what I will do here, I will inject JWT service. JWT service. Okay. Now here what I will do, public get JWT token. So here I am going to send my payload as current user into the preparation of the token. Okay. So expected output will be the string. So here what I can do is simply let's prepare a payload. And I want to copy the properties from the current user. The reason I am creating one more payload is the JWT default method only expects the uh, plain class, plain properties only. That's why I'm copying the properties. I'm not assigning the directly current user. If you assign directly current user into the next return method, it will throwing some error. If you want, you can check as well. Now have it JWT service dot sign in async. Okay, this expects some payload, so I'm passing my payload. So it will generate finally string. So it should be async method. It should be in promise. Okay, we are done with the JWT process. We have installed the plugin and we have generated the token based on our user payload. Okay, now I have to update my controller so that I have to access the first. Let's access the token. So token, to access the token, we know this dot user service dot get JWT and I need to pass record dot user current. Okay, so what it will return? It will return me the token string. So let token equal to, okay. So now I got token, but I want to store it in the cookie. So to store it to the cookie, we need to use resp, okay, and res, and it should response type. So that must be loads from the express. Okay, please make sure that type response type. By default, also some response type is available in the Nest Common JS. Don't use that. Use the response type. So then only we can get the cookie option. Okay. Now let me prepare the data. Secret data. Let secret data equal to one is token. Another one is refresh token. For now, I simply store empty. In the next video, I am going to explain how to generate the refresh token and how to use it. Okay, now what I can do, now resp dot cookie. You can see here cookie. So here I can specify my cookie name like auth cookie. Okay, and I can pass my secret data, and finally some cookie options. I want to HTTP only cookie, right? I can set here true. So this cookie only read by my server only, cannot be read by the JavaScript framework. And finally, what I will do, simply return a message. Success. Okay, everything good. I will get a cookie, auth cookie with the token inside of it. Okay, so let me test again. Okay, first let's run our application. And here to modify cookie, we need to set one more option like pass through. We need to set it to true. So here, hover it, you can see the message determine whether the response will be sent manually within the route handler, the native handling. Okay, so to modify something of the response from our code, we need to set it to true. So here modifying response, right? We are adding our cookie. I think it should work now. Our code running. See, I got success message immediately now. Okay, now here you can see cookie in brackets, one cookie is returned from the server. So if you see my auth cookie name, value is undefined. Okay, something gone wrong. I am okay. Then undefined, it should be equal to here. Okay, and I think now we will get the token data. It's saved. Okay, some error. Okay, everything good. Okay, it is running. Now let's test. Okay, now check the cookie. See, my token data is coming. Okay, my cookie name, token data, and the HTTP only is true. Okay, so that's it. We are done with creating the JWT or HTTP only cookie. Okay, so in the next video, what I will do, I will create a one endpoint, a simple endpoint, and I will secure that. I will make it as a secured endpoint so that it can only be accessed by the login user. So to access it, the request must contain the cookie, and inside of the cookie, it should have the valid JWT token. Okay, next video we will learn how to validate the secure endpoint, and also we will work on creating the refresh token and also how to utilize the refresh token. Okay, that will be explained in the next video. Okay, so I think this video has delivered some useful information to you all. If you like my video, please do subscribe to my channel. We will meet you again with a new video. Until then, signing off.